The battlefield was silent, filled with the smoke of broken ships and burning metal. Stars above shined cold and distant, as if they were watching without care. Among the ruins, bodies of warriors from many alien races lay forgotten, their weapons cracked, their flags torn. The war was over, but peace had not come. Only silence and ashes remained. In the center of the destroyed ground lay a single figure, an alien warrior once feared by many. He was tall, with silver skin and proud markings across his face, the signs of a noble bloodline. But now his body was broken, his legs crushed beneath fallen steel, his arms trembling without strength. He could not rise, he could not even crawl. He was paralyzed. Every breath was pain, every heartbeat was slow, like a drum fading away. Other alien soldiers passed by, their ships collecting survivors, their medics saving only the strong. They looked at him once, then turned their eyes away. Some whispered that he was finished, others laughed at his weakness. "Better to leave him here," one voice said coldly. "He is no use to anyone now." And so they left him, a hero of many battles, abandoned on the same ground where he once brought victory. The alien warrior's eyes burned with shame. His people had sworn loyalty, but loyalty ended when his body failed. He remembered the songs sung in his honor, the cheers when he entered the battlefield. Now there was only silence, broken only by the sound of crackling flames. Tears welled, but he would not let them fall. He was proud, and pride was all he had left. Time passed slowly. The cold of night crept in, the smoke grew heavier, and his strength grew weaker. In his heart, he waited for death. But destiny was not finished with him. From the shadows of the ruins, a human soldier appeared. He was small compared to other warriors, his armor scratched, his rifle half broken. He had served when many others had not, his face marked with dust and blood. The human walked carefully, searching, listening, but when his eyes fell on the alien warrior, he stopped. The alien warrior stared back. For a moment, he expected the human to raise his weapon. Humans were not trusted in the galaxy. They were seen as weak, reckless, too emotional to be true fighters. But this human did not shoot. He did not turn away. Instead, he stepped closer, his eyes filled not with hate, but with something else, something the alien had not seen for a long time. Compassion. The human knelt beside him, checking the broken body. The alien tried to speak, but his voice cracked. "Why? Why are you here?" he whispered. The human only shook his head, his voice steady though soft. "No one should be left to die alone," he said. The alien could not believe it. Why would a human of all creatures stay beside him when even his own kind had abandoned him? He wanted to shout, to tell him to leave, but his body could not obey. The human reached into his pack, pulling out water, pressing it gently to the alien's lips. The alien resisted for a moment, then drank, the cool taste bringing him back from the edge of death. Above them, the sky rumbled with the sound of distant ships. Search parties were moving, but not to save, only to collect what was useful. The human looked up, his eyes sharp, then back at the alien. "If they find you, they will kill you," he said, "but I will not let that happen." The alien laughed bitterly, his chest rising and falling with effort. "You cannot carry me, human, I am finished." But the human ignored the words, his hands strong as he tried to lift the heavy frame. It was not easy, his legs shook, his back bent, but he did not stop. Step by step, the human soldier dragged the paralyzed warrior away from the open field, hiding him in the shadows of broken walls. The alien felt something inside his chest stir, something he thought was gone. Hope. He had been ready to die, but this small human would not let him. In his silence, he asked himself a question that burned like fire. Why would a human do what even his own people refused to do? The night grew darker, the danger around them grew heavier, but together, one broken alien and one stubborn human took the first step into a story that would shake the galaxy. For in that moment, the galaxy had abandoned the alien warrior. But a human soldier had refused to let him die. The ruins whispered with danger, shadows moving under the broken towers of metal. The human soldier pressed his back against the wall, the heavy weight of the alien warrior resting on his shoulder. His muscles screamed with pain, but he would not stop. Each step echoed louder than thunder in his mind. Every corner might hide enemies, every sound might mean death. The alien warrior, paralyzed and ashamed, spoke in a low, bitter voice. "You cannot save me, human. Leave me before you fall too." But the human shook his head, eyes burning with quiet fire. "I will not abandon you, not when you have already been abandoned by everyone else." The alien could not understand. Why would this fragile being, from a race mocked as weak and untested, risk his life for him? Even his own people, bound by oath and blood, had turned their backs. And yet here was a lone soldier from Earth carrying him through danger as if his life mattered. Above them the sky flickered with searchlights, enemy ships crawling like hunters searching for prey. The human soldier pulled the alien deeper into the ruins, hiding beneath a collapsed bridge. Breathing heavy, sweat dripping from his forehead, he whispered, "They will not find you, not while I draw breath." The alien stared at him, confusion twisting into a strange respect. This human was not strong like other warriors, not armed with great weapons or mighty fleets, but he carried something heavier than steel, a will that refused to bend. The footsteps approached, sharp and metallic, alien scouts, killers sent not to save but to silence the wounded. The human pressed the alien warrior flat against the rubble. His heart beat fast, but his hands did not shake. He readied his broken rifle, every nerve screaming to fight. The scouts moved past, their voices harsh. "They say one of the great warriors still lives, paralyzed, helpless, worthless." Another voice laughed. "If we find him, end him quickly. His death will erase the shame." The human's jaw clenched, his grip on the rifle tightening, but he stayed silent, waiting until their shadows faded into the smoke. The alien warrior turned his eyes to him. "You risk your life for nothing, human. They will kill us both." But the soldier only whispered back, "Maybe they can kill us, but they cannot erase what is right." The words sank deep into the alien's heart. For the first time since his fall, he felt something shift inside him. He was still paralyzed, still broken, but for a moment he did not feel useless, for someone believed he was worth saving. The human soldier looked at the horizon, where fire still burned. He remembered the words of his commanders. "Humans are small in this galaxy. Never waste your life on outsiders." But here he was, breaking every rule, guided not by orders but by choice, a choice that would change everything. They moved again, the human carrying him inch by inch. Every step tore at his body, but still he moved. The alien could only watch, silent, as this fragile being carried him through death itself. Finally they reached a shattered chamber, hidden deep under collapsed steel beams. The soldier lowered him carefully, his arms trembling with exhaustion. For a moment silence returned. The human leaned back against the wall, chest rising and falling like a drum. The alien whispered again, softer now, Why would you do that?" The soldier looked at him, his eyes tired but steady. "Because no one else would," he said simply. The alien turned his face away, ashamed. His people had called themselves noble, proud, honorable, but in truth it was this human who showed him what honor meant. Not in words, not in songs, but in action, in sacrifice. Above, the sound of engines grew louder. The scouts had returned, this time closer, searching every corner. The human soldier stood again, his rifle ready, though its power cell was nearly empty. He placed a hand on the alien's shoulder and whispered, "If they come here, I will fight, even if it costs me everything." The alien felt a spark of rage and pride stir in his chest. He wanted to stand, to fight beside this human, but his body betrayed him. He cursed his weakness, his useless frame, but then he saw the human's back, small against the vast ruins, standing alone before the storm. And he understood something deep. This human was not saving him out of pity. He was saving him because he believed life was worth more than power. The footsteps grew louder. Shadows crept across the rubble. The moment of choice had come. The human soldier gripped his rifle and whispered, almost like a vow, "They left you to die, but I will not. And if I must fall, I will fall fighting beside you." The alien warrior closed his eyes. For the first time since the battle, he did not feel abandoned. For the first time, he felt the fire of hope return. And in that dark, ruined chamber, a bond was forged that would shake the galaxy. One human had chosen to save him, against all reason, against all odds. And that choice would soon awaken a storm none could imagine. Night spread across the ruined battlefield like a blanket of fear. The wind carried smoke, dust, and the faint cries of machines still burning. The human soldier kept his rifle close, his eyes sharp, his body tense. Beside him, the paralyzed alien warrior lay hidden among shattered walls, his breath shallow but steady. They had escaped death once, but danger was not finished. Whispers traveled fast across the galaxy. Scouts reported a rumor. A great alien warrior had survived though broken. Enemies feared what secrets he might carry, and they swore he must not live. Now hunters walked in the darkness searching for him. The human soldier knew they were coming. Every sound felt louder in the silence. Every shadow seemed alive. He pressed his ear against the rubble and heard it. The crunch of metal boots. The hiss of alien voices. "They are near," he whispered, tightening his grip on the weapon. The alien warrior opened his eyes. "Leave me, human. They will kill you too," he said with bitterness. But the soldier only shook his head. "I will not. Your fight is not over." The alien turned away, shame filling his chest. He had once been a hero, feared by many, strong enough to carry armies. Now he could not even lift his weapon. It was the human, fragile and underestimated, who carried the weight of survival. The hunters moved closer, their voices sharp in the night. "Find him, the paralyzed traitor. End his life before dawn." The soldier's heart raced, but his hands stayed steady. He moved silently, placing broken pieces of steel across the ground like traps. Every step must count. Every move must save time. The alien watched him, confusion deepening. "Why risk everything for me?" he whispered again. The soldier did not look back, his voice low. "Because no one else would, and because it is right." The words struck deep, more powerful than any blade. The alien warrior felt his pride break, and something else rise in its place. Respect. Suddenly, light cut across the ruins, bright and deadly. The hunters had found a trail moving straight toward them. The soldier pushed the alien deeper into the shadows. "Stay silent," he said, his voice calm even as danger grew. 3 figures appeared, tall and armored. Their we saw, pawns glowing red. They scanned the ruins, eyes like cold fire. One of them laughed. "Pathetic, he hides like a wounded beast. We will end this quickly." The human soldier aimed his rifle, waiting, his finger on the trigger. He knew he could not win against them in open fight, but he could buy time. The hunters split apart, their steps heavy. One passed close, too close. The human breathed slow, then struck. A single shot echoed, the blast tearing into the hunter's chest. The alien warrior's eyes widened. The human had moved like lightning, but the other hunters roared. "Human, you dare protect him!" Their voices thundered. Shots rained across the rubble, sparks flying, walls cracking. The soldier dove behind cover, dragging the alien with him. Dust filled the air, making the world blind. The alien whispered, "You cannot win. There are too many." But the soldier's voice rose strong. "Then let them come. I will not stop." The hunters circled, weapons humming. The human's rifle sputtered, its power cell nearly drained. Every shot was a risk, every second a gift. Still, he stood tall, small against the shadows, unbroken. The alien warrior's chest tightened. Memories flooded of battles long past, of how his people once called him unyielding. And yet it was this human, fragile and scarred, who now stood unyielding in his place. Something stirred deep inside him, a power buried, a flame long forgotten. The hunters drew closer, their blades glowing bright. The human soldier raised his weapon for the last time, but before they could strike, the ground beneath them trembled. A faint glow rose from the alien warrior's body. His eyes burned, not with strength of muscle, but with something greater. The hunters paused, fear flickering in their eyes. The paralyzed warrior, though broken, had awakened a hidden force within him. Energy crackled across the rubble, shaking the ground. The human turned, his eyes wide, whispering, "What are you?" The alien's voice rumbled low, filled with new fire. "I am not finished yet, Anders hesitated, but the soldier smiled. For the first time, he was not standing alone in the shadows. Together, human and alien faced the darkness. One with courage, the other with awakening power, and the galaxy would soon learn that leaving them alive was the greatest mistake. The ruins shook with echoes of battle. Smoke curled around shattered beams as the human soldier pulled the alien warrior deeper into cover. The hunters' voices rose in anger, their weapons glowing red against the dark. "They are near. Find them. No one escapes us. The human pressed his back to the wall, his breath sharp but steady. His rifle was almost empty, every shot precious. He glanced at the alien warrior whose eyes burned faintly with strange light. Something inside him was awakening, something that made even the hunters hesitate. The alien whispered in a voice heavy with shame, "You should leave me, human. I cannot fight. I will only drag you to death." But the soldier shook his head firmly. "You are not alone, not while I breathe." A shadow loomed. One of the hunters stepped forward, tall as a tower. His armor gleamed with blood-red markings. His blade pulsed with energy. He laughed, the sound cruel. "Pathetic human, do you think you can protect him, when even his own people left him to rot?" The human did not answer with words, he answered with fire. His rifle cracked, the blast hitting the hunter's chest, sparks flying, but the armor held. The enemy only staggered. Roaring in fury, he charged forward, blade raised high. The human rolled aside, dragging the alien with him. The blade struck the ground, sending shards of stone into the air. Dust blinded the battlefield, the sound of metal on metal screaming through the night. The other hunters moved in, surrounding them, 3 against 1. The human stood small but unbroken. His body trembled, his weapon failing, but his eyes did not waver. The alien warrior watched, powerless, every muscle screaming to rise, but his legs remained dead, his arms heavy as stone. The human shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos, "If I fall fighting for him." The hunters laughed. "Then die, foolish human. Your sacrifice means nothing." The alien's heart burned, rage and pride clashing within. For the first time he understood. This human was not fighting for glory, not for victory. He was fighting for him, simply because no one else would. Tears blurred his vision, but in those tears fire awakened. The glow in his body spread, faint at first, then brighter. Energy crackled across his skin, sparks racing through the rubble. The hunters paused, blades raised, eyes narrowing in sudden fear. The paralyzed warrior, broken and abandoned, was rising, not with flesh but with power deeper than bone. The human felt it too, the heat on his skin, the hum of unseen force. He turned to the alien, whispering in awe, "What is this?" The alien's voice thundered low, "A part of me, I thought lost forever." The ground shook, stones lifting into the air as the alien's hidden strength awakened. The hunters staggered back, their arrogance fading. The human grinned, tired but fierce. "Good. Now let's show them they hunted the wrong prey." With a roar, energy blasted outward, slamming into the nearest hunter. The giant was thrown across the ruins, his armor cracking, his blade flickering dim. The others raised shields, shouting in fear. "This is impossible," he was paralyzed. The alien's body still could not move, but the force around him obeyed his will. Broken limbs glowed as invisible strength surged, weapons trembling in the air. The human soldier stood beside him, firing the last of his rifle's shots. Every blast striking true with the alien's power guiding them. One hunter fell, his chest torn open, sparks spilling into the dirt. Another charged, blade burning, but a wave of energy threw him into the fire of wreckage. The battlefield turned. Tutsa. He hunted had become the hunters. For the first time, fear belonged to the killers. The alien's voice rose like thunder, echoing across the ruins. "You left me to die, but I rise with the one you despise, a human." The last hunter shook with rage, his blade glowing brighter. "You are nothing but broken flesh. You cannot win." The human stepped forward, rifle empty but his fists tight. "He is not broken, not while I stand with him." The hunter roared and rushed forward, but the ground cracked. A storm of energy erupted from the alien warrior. Blades shattered, armor bent, and the hunter was thrown into the night, never to rise again. Silence returned, broken only by the sound of burning metal. The human dropped to his knees, exhausted, his body shaking. The alien warrior's glow dimmed, but his eyes still burned bright. "You risked your life for me, human, and because of you, I am not finished." The soldier looked up, his voice quiet but strong. "Then fight with me, not with your body, but with your spirit. Together, we are stronger than they know." The alien's heart pounded. In that moment he understood he had been abandoned by his own kind but found honor in a human. and together they had turned the hunt into survival. Far away, unseen eyes watched. News would spread that the paralyzed warrior lived, saved by a human soldier, and in the darkness, more hunters prepared. For they knew this bond was dangerous, and the galaxy was not ready for it. The battlefield lay in ruins, silence heavy after the storm of battle. The hunters were gone, their bodies broken among fire and smoke, but the human soldier did not smile. His chest rose and fell with deep exhaustion. His weapon was empty, his body weak, but his eyes never left the alien warrior. The alien's body still lay broken, legs unmoving, arms heavy as stone, yet his eyes burned like suns, glowing with a strange, new fire. Energy crackled faintly across his skin, sparks floating in the air. The ground itself trembled beneath him, as if obeying his will. The human stepped closer, voice steady but cautious. "What is happening to you?" The alien breathed slow, his voice deep and heavy. "I was paralyzed in flesh, but my spirit is awakening, a power buried in my bloodline, forgotten by time." He closed his eyes, and rubble lifted into the air, circling like planets around a star. The soldier felt both awe and fear. This power was beautiful, but dangerous, raw, and uncontrolled. He reached out and grabbed the alien's shoulder. "Control it, or it will consume you." The alien's chest tightened. Memories of shame and abandonment rose like fire. He saw again the faces of his people turning away, the cruel laughter of his enemies. Rage burned within, and with it the power grew. The ruins shook, walls cracked, sparks burst into the night. The human braced himself, pulling the alien's face toward him. "Listen to me, you are not alone. This power is not your curse, it is your weapon." The alien's eyes glowed brighter, his voice trembling. "I feel it tearing me apart, human. If I let go, I will destroy everything, even you." The soldier's grip tightened, his words cutting like steel. "Then hold on to me. Fight through me. Together we will master it." The air grew heavy, energy thick like a storm. From the distance came the sound of new ships. Hunters had sent more reinforcements. Their engines rumbled, lights flickered across the horizon. The human knew they had little time. He turned back to the alien. "Can you fight? Can you use it against them?" The alien's eyes narrowed. "I do not know, but I will try." With a roar, he focused, forcing the power outward. Rubble shot like arrows. Flames bent with the force of his will. The approaching ships staggered, their lights flickering, alarms echoing across the ruins. The human shielded his face from the blast. This was no ordinary strength. It was ancient, something the galaxy had long forgotten. The alien gasped, his body trembling with pain. Every second of power tore at his life, but he refused to stop. Beside him, the soldier placed a hand on his chest, whispering, "Breathe, focus. I am with you." The power steadied, for a moment controlled. The alien shaped it like a blade slicing through the air. One ship crashed into the ground, exploding in fire. The human's heart raced, shock and pride burning in his chest. "You did it," he whispered. But the alien only shook his head. "No, the power is too great. If I lose control again, everything will burn." The soldier's voice grew sharper. "Then I will be your anchor. If you fall into darkness, I will pull you back." The alien stared at him, his silver eyes glowing. "You would risk your life for me again, even against this." The human smiled faintly through exhaustion. "I already chose, and I will not change." From above, more hunters landed, armored giants surrounding them. The leader stepped forward, his voice filled with hatred. "So the cripple rises, with power stolen from the ancients. It does not matter. We will end both of you here." The alien growled, energy building, but the human stepped in front of him, small against the towering enemies. "You will have to kill me first." The hunters laughed, raising their weapons, but the alien's roar shook the ground, a storm of light and sound exploding outward. Their laughter turned to screams, armor cracking, weapons bending like paper. The human shielded himself from the storm, his heart pounding. This was no longer a broken warrior. This was something greater, something terrifying. The last hunter fell, silence returning once more. The alien collapsed back into the rubble, the glow fading, his breath ragged. The human rushed to his side, kneeling. "You're alive, you held it." The alien opened his eyes weakly, his voice trembling. "No, I only held it because of you, human. You are the only reason I am not lost." The soldier's hand rested on his shoulder. "Then we fight together, always." The alien stared at him, and for the first time in many years, he did not feel alone. But far above, unseen in the darkness, hidden ships watched. Whispers spread across the stars. The paralyzed warrior lived, and his bond with a human had awakened a power the galaxy thought dead, and powers beyond their world began to move. For fear of what would come next, the ruins were quiet again, but the quiet felt heavy. The human soldier leaned against the broken wall, his body bruised, his rifle empty. Beside him, the alien warrior lay weak, his glow fading, his breath rough. They had survived the hunters, but the danger was not gone. From the horizon came the sound of engines, smooth and strong. Not hunters this time, but soldiers of the alien warrior's own race. Their ships cut through the night sky, landing with fire and thunder. Ranks of armored warriors stepped out, tall and proud, their banners shining even in the smoke. The paralyzed alien's eyes filled with hope for a moment. "My people," he whispered, voice breaking. But when the warriors approached, their faces were hard, their voices sharp. "You are alive," their leader said coldly, "but you are no longer one of us." The alien's heart sank. He had expected shame, but he had not expected this cold rejection. "You would leave me again," he whispered, "even now, after what I have done." The leader's eyes narrowed. "You are broken. Your honor is gone. You are a shame to our bloodline. You should have died on the battlefield." The human stepped forward, standing between them. His voice was tired but fierce. "He is no shame. I saw him fight when no one else would. I saw him rise when you turned your backs." The alien soldiers looked at him with disdain, their voices mocking. "A human speaks for him, pathetic. You are nothing in this galaxy." The human's fists clenched, but his voice stayed steady. "You are blind, Yo. You see weakness where there is strength. You abandon him, but I will not." The alien warrior lowered his eyes, shame burning in his chest. He had fought battles across worlds, but never had anyone defended him like this human did. The leader raised his hand, signaling his soldiers, "Step aside, human. This matter is not yours. We will take him and end this disgrace." The human stood tall, his body shaking with exhaustion but his eyes unbroken. "No," he said firmly. "If you want him, you go through me." The alien soldiers laughed, their weapons glowing. "You would die for him," one sneered. The human's answer was quiet but sharp. "I already chose. I will not abandon him." The paralyzed alien felt tears sting his eyes. His own people saw him as nothing. But this human, small and fragile, gave him honor greater than any song. He clenched his fists weakly, whispering, "Why, human, why do you fight for me so much?" The soldier turned his head, his voice like steel. "Because you are worth more than they see. Because loyalty is not just a word, it is a choice. And I chose you." The alien soldiers moved closer, ready to strike. The human stepped in front of the broken warrior, ready to face death. But before the blow could fall, the ground shook. The alien warrior's power burst again, stronger than before, driven not by rage but by something greater, hope. Energy swirled around them, flames bent, rubble lifted, weapons were torn from alien hands. The proud soldiers stumbled, their eyes wide in shock. "This is impossible," one gasped. "He was broken." The leader staggered back, his face pale. "No, this is not possible. He cannot rise again." The alien's voice thundered, echoing through the ruins. "You abandoned me, left me to die, but he did not. A human gave me back my honor, and I will fight with him, not with you." The soldiers froze, the power pressing against them. Like a storm, the human looked at him, pride burning in his tired eyes. "You see, they cannot break you anymore." The alien turned to him, his voice softer now. "Not because of me, but because of us. We are brothers now." The alien leader spat in fury. "You betray your blood for a human. You disgrace us further." But the warrior only raised his head, his eyes glowing bright. "No, you disgraced yourselves when you left me. I choose him, and in that choice, I rise." The soldiers retreated slowly, their courage broken, their leader silent with rage. They could not face the storm that burned within the one they had abandoned, nor could they face the human who stood unyielding beside him. As the last of their ships pulled away, silence returned. The human soldier lowered himself to the ground, exhausted but alive. The alien warrior looked at him, voice trembling with gratitude. You stood against your death for me, human. I will never forget. I am yours as brother in battle and in life. The soldier gave a tired smile. Then let them fear us together. Above them the stars burned cold, but in the ruins below a fire was born, a fire not of one species, but of two souls bound in loyalty, and the galaxy would soon learn that this bond was more dangerous than any weapon. The night stretched cold over the battlefield, but the ruins still burned with hidden fire. The human soldier sat with his back against the wall, his body torn with cuts and bruises. Beside him, the alien warrior lay weak but awake, his eyes glowing faintly, his breath steady. They had survived hunters, assassins, and even the shame of rejection, but their journey was not over. Far above, unseen ships moved in the darkness. The aliens' people had withdrawn, but other powers watched, waiting. Whispers traveled across the stars. The broken warrior lives, they said, and a human stands beside him. Fear spread faster than fire, for the galaxy had never seen such a bond. The human looked at the alien and spoke softly. They will come again, stronger, with more hips, more blades, more hate. The alien closed his eyes, his voice low. Then let them come, together we will face them. Engines roared from the horizon, lights cut through the smoke, dozens of hunters, larger than before, armed with cannons and shields. They marched like giants, their voices echoing. End them both, erase this shame forever. The human rose slowly, every muscle screaming in pain. His rifle was long empty, his body fragile, but his spirit burned bright. He stood in front of the alien, small against the storm. I will not step aside, he whispered, his voice like steel. The alien's power stirred, light flickering across his skin. But this time it was not rage that fed it, it was loyalty. The human's loyalty had become his strength. He turned his glowing eyes toward the enemies. You fear me because I am broken, but it is the human you should fear, for he gave me life again. The hunters roared and charged, weapons raised high. The human braced himself, fists clenched, ready to fight even with nothing left. The alien unleashed his power, light exploding outward, rubble lifting, fire twisting like storms. The ground itself rose to fight beside them. The first wave of hunters was crushed under falling stone, their weapons bent, their armor torn. The human darted between the chaos, striking with speed and clever tricks. Though unarmed, he turned the battlefield itself into a weapon. The alien's energy shielded him, guiding his steps. Together they fought as one. The hunters screamed in fury, their numbers endless, but the bond between human and alien grew stronger with every strike. One moved with courage, the other with power, and in that perfect unity they became unstoppable. The leader of the hunters stepped forward, towering and armored. You are nothing, human, nothing but weak flesh, he shouted. But the alien's voice thundered, shaking the ruins. Then why does he stand when others fall? Why does he fight when whole armies turned away? The leader roared, raising his blade. But the human leapt forward, striking not with strength but with will. The alien's power surged through him, guiding his hand. Together they drove the enemy back, light and flesh striking as one. The great blade cracked, the leader stumbled, and the storm swallowed him. When the dust cleared, silence fell. The hunters were gone, their army broken. The ruins lay quiet once more, but the silence felt different now. It was not the silence of death, but the silence of fear. The galaxy had seen something it could not forget. The human dropped to his knees, exhausted, his breath sharp. The alien warrior looked at him, eyes glowing faint but steady. You gave me back my honor, human. You gave me more than my people ever did. The soldier gave a tired smile, his voice soft. And you gave me more than I ever thought I could be. They sat together in the ruins, brothers not by blood, but by choice. Above them the stars burned bright, carrying whispers across the galaxy. Whispers that would soon turn into legends, that a broken alien warrior rose again, not because of his people, but because of a human soldier, that together they fought against the impossible and stood unbroken. And in the halls of power across the stars, leaders trembled, for they understood a truth too late. It was not human weapons or ships they should fear. It was the human heart, a heart that would not abandon even the fallen, a heart that turned weakness into strength, a heart that made brothers where enemies once stood. The galaxy would never be the same. A new legend had risen, born in fire and ruin, the legend of a human soldier who refused to let an alien warrior die, and together, they became the storm that no empire could stop.